Hey all, this is Sergemustu, and in this tutorial I'm gonna show you how to create particles that can be imported from Cinema 4D right into After Effects for the Plexus plugin from Rowbyte. Um, Actually, this is very easy. I found at last 3 ways to import particles from Cinema into After Effects for Plexus. And what you can see here is the, I think, most efficient way to import particles. These are all just vertices, and I put them in a what's the word? In a emitter, in a particle emitter. And you cannot see them in alone in Cinema, but you can see them in Plexus. Plexus recognizes the vertices and creates this typical net structure. So yes, let's recreate this effect here. We jump right into Cinema, and I prepared the scene here, as you can see. This is just the scene. There's a simple particle emitter. And what I did here was I put a polygon inside the emitter, but just with one vertices. So I'll show you. I'll show you a new scene here. So let's go to Simulate, Particle Emitter, and rotate it to this way. Okay. And I go to the polygon object, and I convert the polygon object into a polygon, and I go to oh, wait a minute, I forgot one step. Let's go back, select the polygon object, and what I want to do is I want to switch on the triangle button here. So again, okay. So now, because it's easier to, well, actually it doesn't matter, but I do it this way. So convert it into a polygon object, go to point mode, and I select the points I don't need and delete them. And now we have just one point here, just one vertices, and I put them in the middle. That's very important. Just put them in the middle, type 0, apply. Now we have this vertices right in the center of our world. And now put these polygon, or maybe let's rename it into vertices, and put them below the emitter. Okay, now we cannot see them in Cinema. You know, if we go to a particle emitter and show objects, they are actually not visible there. So let's undo this here. And actually that's it. That's it. And I prepared the scene here. I put a gravity object and a wind and a deflector and into the scene, and to create the scene here. And I animated the wind object, and at the end it looks like this. Okay, but before we can look into something like this, we have to, of course, import it into After Effects. So what to do now? Okay, our scene here is prepared for export. And now comes the important part. Okay, this is just one vertices here, this polygon object, like in the scene I showed you before here. And we go to File, Export, and export Plexus or OBJ sequence. Okay, now let's make a new folder. Particles. Okay, particle test is okay. And now I export the particles. And Plexus particle exporter will now export every single frame of my animation here. In this case, 250 into single OBJ files. And in every single OBJ file, okay, wait a minute, I will show you that now. Okay, here's the folder. And now I have about 250 objects. And in every OBJ file here are the vertices emitted by the particle emitter, I mean. Okay, now let's import them into After Effects. We go to After Effects. Let's create a new composition and a new solid. And I call this Plexus Particles. Okay. I go to Effect, Rowbyte, Plexus. Okay, here we are. We have to add a geometry, in this case, of course, an OBJ geometry. And we import our OBJ sequence. And here we are. Just select one, OBJ file sequence enabled, okay. And let's see. Okay, that looks interesting. Let's create it. Wait a minute. What you can see here is Plexus imported particles, but they are flipped upside down. So we have to go to the Plexus OBJ object, yeah, transform OBJ, and click on the invert Y axis. Now that looks better. Okay, let's create a camera. Go to Layer, New Camera. And let's do a normal camera like this, or maybe 50 is okay. And now let's see how it looks. Okay. Okay, that looks nice. Okay. Let's go back to our effect controls and add a renderer, in this case a line renderer. And we can adjust the line thickness a little bit, maybe a little bit down, like, I don't know, the half of it. That looks good. Yeah, that's okay. And at last, maybe add a light. Okay, let's create a point light here. Maybe, I don't know, a little bit of yellowish, like this. And lift a little bit. Okay, oops. Okay, now we have to go back to our Plexus particle layer, and in the effect control, we have to add an effector, and I think it's the shade effector. Yes. And the ambience, if we set them to 0, we don't see the ambient light of the wire. So let's raise a little bit up, like, I don't know, this here. Yeah, 10 is okay, 10%. And now we can play a little bit with the light, as you can see here. Now if we crank out a little bit the light settings, we have more light in the scene then, as you can see here. And maybe a little different color. Yeah, maybe this, why not? Okay, duplicate the light and and make a different light at the bottom, maybe blue or whatever. Well, why not? That's okay. Okay, and at last, of course, enable depth of field. That looks always nice. We have to, of course, go back into the effect control and enable depth of field here in the Plexus settings. And the blur factor is way too high here. I set them to 0.0, and now I can adjust the settings in the camera. Okay, depth of field is on. Focus distance, yeah, that's okay. Aperture, okay, let's see how it looks. Focus distance, yeah, I think that's okay. So actually, this is the way I import the particles from cinema using the vertices technique. There is another technique to get your particles from cinema into After Effects using Plexus. And I'm going back to cinema, and I prepared another scene here. And this is a scene where I put some lights into a particle emitter. And actually, I don't need this here. Oh, wait a minute. No, I don't need this. Okay, so as you can see, this is a particle emitter. It's animated on a path, and it creates some lights, visible in cinema, of course. And what I did here was I put a tag on it, on the emitter and the light. And it's a compositing tag. You can find it under tags, cinema tags, and external compositing. And in the render settings, I go to Save, Compositing, Project File, and save a file here. Well, let's go to. Let's create a new folder. Let's to make it a little bit more clear. Wait a minute. Plexus particles light. Okay, particle light. Okay, now I export the emitter with a light, and I go to After Effects. I create a new composition. And I create a new layer, and of course again Plexus. Okay, now I go to my project window and double click, and I import the exported After Effects document from cinema. Okay, so where is it? Okay, of course you can see nothing here because I have nothing rendered in cinema. So let's switch this off. Okay, so here's the imported here's an imported file sequence from cinema. And you can see every particle in cinema is now a layer in After Effects. And this is a huge scene now. I have more than 400 layers. And I think this is not the best way to import particles for Plexus. But I will show you what the advantages of this method. And first of all, we have to go into, you know what, I think I copy this layer here, the Plexus layer. and paste it into this composition. And I go to the effect controls. And now, it's been a while since I did this, so let's check this out. Yes, I think it's layer. And yes, where it is, lights, point lights, okay. I think now he's actually, let's have a look. Yes, as you can see, Plexus is now using the lights from, or the layers, the light layers from After Effects to create particles. So what is the advantage of this method? Let's say you have this particle tray that you can see here. You know what? I will create an additionally a renderer, a lines renderer, like this. Okay. So the advantage of this technique. Wait a minute. I think I have to resize my. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Now, guys. Okay. So I will hide the lights. Okay. So what is the advantage of this technique? Let's say you have this particle tray. And you want to put some specific, let's say, words or text on a specific particle. And this is possible here. So just select the light. I don't know, maybe this here. And then you can grab actually a particle from or inside of Plexus by grabbing the layer with this technique. You see, now we have a single particle. I don't know what it is here. I think something is not in the position. I don't know what. Maybe I have a different. Okay, it's not right position. Let's reposition it. Reset. No, it's better. Okay, forgot that. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So this is the idea behind this technique. You can actually have control over every particle here in After Effects. So you can do actually a combination of both methods. Let's say you have I don't know. Let's look at this movie again. This is the Vertices technique, and let's say you want to have this particle here to behave differently. Then you can animate this particle in After Effects by using a layer. Of course, using both techniques. You have to go back to cinema with this technique and use instead of a polygon a light. Maybe duplicate that here and put a light on it, and then put a external composition tag on it. So, and if we show objects, we have the same particles. One of them is a polygonal a vertices object, and this is a light object. And you can import both. This via the Plexus OBJ sequence exporter, and this with the save project file exporter for After Effects within Cinema. And you can then go back to After Effects and just select the layer you want. Here in After Effects, let's say I want to have this one, and I delete then every other layer. So my scene is then much more cleaner, and I have my little particle that I want to animate differently. Okay, guys, I think that's it for now. A very spontaneous tutorial. At this time, I have a lot of work to do, so I put this tutorial in between, and I have to continue my work now. But I wanted to show you this technique, and in the last days I created this effect here. I will upload this effect to Vimeo, and it's a lot of fun to work with Plexus in this way here. Okay, I will upload the movie, and as you can see, it's really fun to play with this possibilities what this plugin can do, and also I animate all the things in Cinema 4D and import the vertices into After Effects. Okay, this, for example, is just a single vertices at the beginning and some vertices as a particle tray, and and the dome here is a sphere, and of course an animated torus kind of object, and of course the particles. And I'm using the same technique that I showed you a couple of minutes ago. So have fun using your own creations and have a nice day. Bye bye.